What's up, Chase and a feeling? It was a great week. This was a great week. So we're gonna kick off right away with our wrap-ups from last week, and we'll start off with a little bit of an upset, maybe when you came into the week, but afterwards, after things have reshuffled, doesn't really seem like such an upset, and that's Dallas Cowboy Kirby versus Mother Bucker, with Dallas Cowboy Kirby coming on top, 134-90. And then next up, we had Andrew versus Aaron, and Andrew looked good. Unable to get the win, though, with 132 to a score of 142 from Aaron, and Aaron keeps his run of consistency and wins going. He's looking very good and getting even better. Then we go to Taylor, who's picking speed up again with a score of 136 versus Miles' 112, and Miles has been saying all year round he has a good team, and he has two good wide receivers in Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs, but really, in my head, yet to prove it. Like, he's 4-6, he has a couple of good wins, but overall, like, just unable to get above 120 consistently. Now we go to the most shocking revelation of them all, Jesse, 1-9. He wins. Doug loses with a score of 81, one of the lowest performances of the year so far. Totally took out of left field. I think it hurt that he was out a few players, but I think he'll probably pick it up next week. We'll see. We'll get to that in a minute. Then we go to Fergalicious Clapalicious versus Dan DePascal Hopkins. And Noah wins. And I've been telling you guys, Dan's a fraud. Dan is a fraud, and he lost. So let's go. Only 105 for Dan that week. And so now, with all the wrap-ups from last week, we're going to go to our power rankings. And at number 10, we have Jesse. Despite his first win, he got 103 points. And he really doesn't have a whole lot of players that I would say are top tier this year, other than his quarterback. Rest of his team just isn't it. It's just not his year. And I think if he can pick up some players and maybe try a little bit harder, get out of this depression funk he's in, go for the win a couple more times, he might be able to shoot for a toilet bowl and then get a toilet bowl win. Maybe avoid getting last, getting last in the league. Then at number 9, huge fall from grace is John. And John's team, despite having Jonathan Taylor, Gabe Davis, Josh Allen, who all had good weeks this last week. I'm pulling up the box score now. He doesn't have anyone else. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got 0 points. Allen Lazard is an okay bench wide receiver, but he has to start him. Juju looks like he's going to miss significant time, as well as Zach Ertz is out for the season. So I think John's done. I think his season is over. Maybe he squeaks out one more win, but I think John's done. I think he's staying at 9. And despite a loss, Andrew moves up to number 8 with a score of 132. Now, Andrew's team probably could jump 1 to maybe 2 more spots by the end of the year if he went on a really hot run. But I really don't think he's going to move up that much more, even though he's scoring big the last few weeks. Justin Fields is great. Dalvin Cook, Foreman, all good players. I can't envision Andrew moving higher than 6th. Like, he could get to 6th. Don't get me wrong, but I just, with the roster and the performance, the rest of the performances the rest of the year, or the last part of the year, I can't see him going above 5. Maybe getting to that 5 spot if he wins out, but we'll see. He didn't even win last week, so staying at 8. Number 7, we have Pascal, who's looked good the last couple of weeks, but we'll see how he does the rest of the year. It all depends on his receivers. If CeeDee Lamb and Ahmad St. Brown are consistent, if Tony Pollard plays at that high level, if Zeke isn't playing, it really helps his team. Ramondre's coming back, so could be another good week, but he's playing against Taylor, so we'll see. Then we go to number 6, Miles, and Miles belongs here. I think. I was tempted to put Pascal above Miles, but it really felt unfair just because if we go off of the whole season, Miles has had a better season, and he hasn't had those really low weeks, whereas recency bias would make you want to put Dallas Cowboy Kirby above him. But I don't know. I think Miles is the better player right now. I think, if we go and we look at what he's done, he's on only a 1-game losing streak. Pascal's only a 1-game win streak, but points aren't that far off. I don't know. I'm gonna give it to Miles, but in the future, we'll see. We'll see where things line up. Number 5, he's lucky to be at number 5. Is Doug. That was a stinker of a week. Pascal's had worse weeks. There've been worse weeks this year, I'm pretty sure. But just after he is just so hot and cold this year, man. I think he's going to do better this week. But yeah, he's at 5. Doug at 5. At number 4, Noah with a huge bounce back win that he really, really needed to stay in the hunt of the top 4, get one of those good playoff positions. Is Noah. Noah is just got a little lucky with his points because he only got 119, but I think Noah belongs at 4. And the top 4 has been consistent all year round. It's been these top 4 players from beginning to end, basically. I think maybe at the beginning of the season, the first week, the preseason rankings were a little bit different. But we saw these next 3 coming. Then at number 3, we have Dan. He drops 1 because of a bad performance, and everybody has been saying Dan's the best team in the league. Dan has the best team in the league. I just don't see it. I don't. I mean, Derrick Henry needs those touchdowns to be getting those high level points. Saquon's been ridiculous, and then the rest of his team, I don't know. I mean, Joe Mixon's a good player, but I don't know. I'm just split. I think Dan could probably get all the way to number 1 by the end of the year, but right now he's at 3. And then at number 2, we have Taylor, who, in my opinion, has one of the deepest rosters, very underrated. The only position she's really lacking in at times is tight end, and that's mainly due to the fact that Dalton Schultz didn't have Dak. Now that he has Dak back, Dak's always looking for Dalton Schultz, and she could use one more good wide receiver as well. But Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk's recent explosion, one of the highest scoring defenses in Dallas. They've had a couple down weeks, and then Lamar Jackson is just like right there alone. You've got yourself a team. Also got Brian Robinson on her bench. Paris Campbell's starting to look up on her bench. She's got a great team, a really, really great team. So I have her at number 2. Only weakness I'd say is tight end. But now it's looking up, and then that DJ Moore is just, he's not it. So, we'll see how things shake out the rest of the year for her. I don't know if I think she has the legs to win it all, but I do think that she's a very, very good team. And then number 1, of course, has been my number 1 for a long time now, is Aaron Jones, Texas Toe Curlers. And Texas Toe Curlers is from top to bottom. My gosh, it's like, this is a scary, scary team. You have Patty Mahomes. You have Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Aaron Jones, Tyler Higbee, who's not having an awful year, a little inconsistent. But right there, those players I listed are number 1 quarterback, number 2 running back, 8 running back, number 1 wide receiver. Bench is a little suspect. Does help to have George Kittle in the pocket, although he's been inconsistent. We'll see if the injuries happen, his team could get bad. But I have a number 1, especially with Marquise Brown coming back. And so that's your power rankings. Now let's go and take a preview to this week. I know some of the games are already in motion, but I'll start with Dallas Cowboy Kirby versus Daniel Gay-Lewis. And Christian Watson had a great game last night, but before that even happened, I had Taylor winning. I still have Taylor winning. Daniel Gay-Lewis winning that matchup. Reno's Gabagool versus Chasing the Upside. After a win, he doesn't care. He hasn't changed his lineup at all. So I'm going to say Reno Gabagool wins that. Then we go to Mother Bucker, who seems like he may have given up. I don't know. He hasn't changed his lineup much versus Texas Toe Curlers. And Texas Toe Curlers is missing some key people this week. So I'm going to go Texas Toe Curlers. Then Not in Last versus Fergalicious Clapalicious. So Andrew versus Noah. I'm going to go Noah there. That's an easy win for him. I think Andrew's going to have a down week this week. And then Dan versus Cuckland Signature. Oh my gosh. Instead of Kirkland, that's a new one. Doug versus Dan. I hate myself. I absolutely hate myself. Dan wins. I'm ending the video there. I'm not talking anymore. I'm done. Dan wins. Stupid video. This is stupid video. I'm done. No Ben DiNucci this week.